Alright guys, hello and welcome back to Final Fantasy III. So when we left off, we were just about to enter Doga's Manor. But, I bamboozled you guys. I'm sure you guys can already tell from the name of this, the name of this one. We're actually going to be leveling up in this one. So specifically what we're looking for is we're looking for, some job level increases because we have quite a few jobs and even fewer levels for them. So, you know, like look at this. Look at all the ones. We don't want that. So we're actually going to be spending quite a it's actually going to be a longer episode than normal, but we're going to be spending quite a bit of time grinding and stuff like that. And I know just where to grind. We're gonna make it. No, I was talking to some people and they had recommended increasing some of the jobs to like maximize the amount of HP I'm gonna get off of each individual job. I don't know if I'm gonna like. I don't know what jobs I'm gonna do. I think I might. So I think. I know this is very concise. My main thought process is what I'll probably do is I'm gonna do like a two birds, one stone kind of situation. So essentially, we're gonna be like fighting here for Phoenix Downs and stuff like that once we get someone equipped with a thief, and then we're gonna be increasing jobs as well. I think what I'll probably attack the main story with is most likely just a like a monk class on a lot of people. I think that seems like a good idea. I don't know, I really like monk because it's just been something that I don't know, over time it's grown on me, and you know, it's always been like so like effective and so fun. And I mean we started Final Fantasy 1, if you guys saw that playthrough, where essentially what I did was I just, you know, had mages and a monk, and then I buffed the monk, and then he just like killed everything. Wasn't it like Chaos or whatever his name was? He killed in 2 hits. Like, it was just something dumb where it was like he's just so it's so strong, and I don't know. I prefer monks. I have a, you know, fond memories, I guess you'd say. So yeah, we're gonna be using them a lot. And people can correct me if I'm wrong. I think the level ups for the jobs are based off actions. So it sounds like if the more actions we take, the more benefit we get. Which is obviously very, very different than a lot of the other options, where it's, you know, experience gets you levels and so on and so forth. So yeah, we got Ark's job level increasing, so that's good to see. I don't think we can actually encounter Bahamut. Like, this is normally where he'd, like, pick us up into his lair and then, you know, put us in an odd spot, but that is not happening today. I mean, either way, we do definitely end these enemies really, really quickly. I mean, this is brutal. I'm thinking this one will probably be like an hour or so. I'm not really sure. This is actually where it becomes kind of difficult though as well. Like, as I mean, not obviously not the game, but as someone who commentates, like, it's because we are going to be doing the same action for quite a while. I feel like I'm not too bad at it though, because we have had games of like Blitzball and stuff where, you know, we're just getting experience, and that's kind of the same concept. So actually, one of the things I was going to talk about, which I probably should have looked up before I started this, you know, like what is hopeful to be like an hour marathon, but I think I know the next few games we're playing. So obviously we're playing Final Fantasy 3 right now, and there's not, I mean, as far as I know, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, there's not like another Final Fantasy 3 game. There's not like a sequel to this or some sort of add-on. So like, this is it. This is Final Fantasy 3, and then we're done once we're done with this one. But I think what I'm probably going to do is Final Fantasy 4, of course, and then I think it's After Years. So apparently Final Fantasy 4, I believe it's 4, has like this whole thing where there's like multiple versions of the game or something, or not multiple versions, but there's like add-ons or like sequels or prequels or some sort of thing. So we're gonna be playing that. I still need to look into it. It's kind of tough because for me, I'm trying to figure out like one of the biggest things for me is how do we want to like play these games? Because initially I want to do it based on release date, and you kind of see how like the games develop a little bit, and obviously that's a little bit skewed because I'm playing a lot of remade versions. I'm not playing like the original iterations of the games. But initially I want to go off release date, and I'm still gonna try to follow that roughly, but we'll see how it shakes out. I guess a good example of that is I'm going to be playing Final Fantasy VII, but I'm not going to play like the original Final Fantasy VII and then play the remake right after it, because that doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, we'll throw the remake in there somewhere probably, but I don't think it's going to be right after doing the original Final Fantasy VII. So I've never actually beaten Final Fantasy VII as well, though. That's it's always been a game I feel like I should have beaten, but I never did. And I mean, I generally know the story because it's nearly impossible to not be spoiled by Final Fantasy VII. And I think it's a really good story. I definitely enjoy it. I don't know, I'm gonna sound like really salty, but I also like a lot of other Final Fantasies, and I think there's a lot of other Final Fantasies that you could expand the universes in and kind of still get that same kind of, you know, love and joy. But I don't know, I feel now this is gonna become like a conversation about Final Fantasy VII, but I don't hate that Square is like constantly like re-releasing Final Fantasy VII. I think it's really difficult, like as a game developer, not to like jump to the aid of, you know, a company that does not need it. But I feel like at the end of the day, they're just trying to make a buck, and the one thing that they know is going to sell is Final Fantasy VII, so they're going to like beat it into the ground, which is also bad because creative wise, like where is that balance, you know, between like creative integrity of like, oh, this is a new thing and we really enjoy it and we think like this is a good story and like we think this will sell, and it's I don't know, I feel like it's always like the competition of those two things. Yeah, I know that sounds weird too, saying the competition, because the argument is like, no, well, like if you have a great story then it will sell, but I think that's something you've got to convince people of. Like, I don't know, I believe that, but I feel like if you're trying to pitch something, people are like, you know, hey, everyone like bought, you know, Final Fantasy VII, whatever, like let's pitch more of this. But I guess long story cut short, I will be playing Final Fantasy VII. I'll be playing the remake. I think right now order is, well, I could be wrong, but order is Final Fantasy VII, then Advent Children, the movie, and then Dirge of Cerberus. I will be playing Dirge of Cerberus. I actually had a really old video on one of my old channels where I showed how to get infinite experience in Dirge of Cerberus. Well, not infinite, but like infinite up to your patience. It's actually pretty common or well known, I think, but there's one section of the very first mission where enemies constantly respawn in Dirge of Cerberus, and you can just get like infinite experience or money depending on what you choose at the end of it. Is it experience? I forgot, because there's like this weird system with the gun, right, where you level it up and stuff. It might not be experience. It might be something else, or maybe you use experience. I actually don't recall. And the reason it's, if for those of you who are uninitiated in the Dirge of Cerberus kind of, I guess, culture or, you know, experience, but there's not infinite enemies. It's not random encounters. As you play through the mission, you just encounter people, and you kill them, and they don't come back. And you go backwards in the mission, and there's not more people. So there's a finite amount of experience or money or whatever you can get as you play through. So this is the one spot where you can just like farm like crazy and just have a good time. So yeah, it's pretty cool. The one thing I am jumping off Final Fantasy VII, the one thing I am doing with this series, which I don't know if I'm going to stick with it because there's so much Final Fantasy, but I want to play Final Fantasy 14 in order still, even though it's an MMO. I want to wait, and I think so. The main reason I want to wait is I feel like there is a lot of, nods to older Final Fantasies in the MMO, and I want to experience those before I jump back in. And I know I've played it before, but I don't know. I feel like it's worth it. I think it's, a good time and a good idea. The MMO will just be live streams though. Like, I'm not gonna record certain footage. I might do highlights if something cool happens, but I'm just gonna be, playing casually. I'm probably not gonna like revolutionize the world with how I play. My honestly, this is gonna sound so lame. My initial plan is to be like a red mage or a white mage. Red mage if it's possible. I'm pretty positive white mage is possible. But and then just go around helping people out, like being your friendly neighborhood, like Blitzball player, just healing people if they need it in the middle of battle, I don't know, just being a kind soul. I don't know. I don't have a lot of plans. I'm gonna go to the Manderville Saucer and live there essentially, and just like have a good time. So yeah, should be a good time. And if any of you guys play Final Fantasy 14, I'm down to play. I will say right now, I'm not very good, and this is gonna sound so bad. I don't have a lot of motivation to do the most optimal thing, I guess is the way to say it. Like I don't have a lot of motivation to be like, like we're gonna. I don't know. Maybe later. Maybe I will. I don't know. It's tough to say. Like I definitely lean on the very casual side, like in my mindset right now, like with the game. I'm not really thinking about doing anything too wild. I'm not really thinking about doing anything too hardcore. I don't know. I just like I think at the end of the day, what I really like to do is just kind of leisurely experience the game, as at like my own pace, which is the big thing. It's also tough though, because I've heard people say like you need to hit like level 50 or something to really open up the game, or what was it? They had said you need to beat specific content to really experience like the full like it's a pretty narrow game until you like beat specific content, and then you kind of it opens up to all sorts of awesome stuff. I mean, maybe that'd be interesting to. So like, I mean, obviously I'm gonna do that, but now I've got to maybe reconsider some options. I don't know if a mage is a good class for that, like white mage, red mage, because obviously they're not known for their attack prowess, especially the white mages. And there should be some options, but be interesting. Start my own Blitzball guild or whatever, or what is it? Free company is what they call them, right? Yeah, now that'll be a good time. I don't know. It's been so long since I've played. And I think the reason I stopped playing was the monthly subscription. Like there was another game I was playing that didn't require me to pay every month, so I was like, yeah, let's do the game that doesn't require me to pay every month. I don't know. I feel maybe this exists, but I feel like MMOs, like if they were going to be really nice to the players, like they could charge by like time played, if that makes sense. Like they could give it a secondary option of like, hey, you can like pay by the hour or something. That might be dumb. It might be like inflated prices. It's tough to say. It's really difficult because I think a lot of maybe not MMO. Well, I think a lot of the money might just be like the idea that people pay for the subscription and it maintains the servers. But you also are aware that some people might not log on a lot. Some people might pay for months without playing. So at that point, then you kind of get a positive, income on that without any sort of really, any action on your part. Like, you don't have to, you know, like, build for the load of all these inactive players. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I guess I'm comparing this to like a gym, you know? they don't expect everyone to show up, and they just kind of, if you don't use your membership, then they don't have to do anything. But yeah, no, that should be really fun. But yeah, going back to our series here. So obviously we have 3 here. We're doing 4, then 4 after years, I think. That might not be the order. And then 5, then 6, then 7, and then we gotta figure out our lives. Honestly, wait, maybe Dirge of Cerberus might be way later. We gotta think about this. So you gotta think about like this. So 7 came out, then 8, then 9, then, you know, then 10, then Dirge of Cerberus. Gosh, I honestly, I was on the Wikipedia page, and I was trying to like figure out like when Final Fantasies came out, and it is crazy how much Final Fantasy has come out, and how much has just been like, I don't know, there's so much content, you know. This isn't like I guess I'm trying to think of a good example. This isn't like Jak and Daxter, you know. This isn't like a pretty contained series of like Jak and Daxter 1, 2, 3, and then probably some mobile games that no one cares about. Like, there's a lot to it. I don't know. It's not as expansive as this one, but like it's almost like Star Wars, you know, like in terms of the amount of content for video game wise. There's just so much to it, and Star Wars still got video games coming out and such. Now, I remember playing Battlefront 2 as a kid so much. That was the game. The 2005 version, not the whole newer one. But it was the newer one. It's like, how old is this guy? He started making videos 10 years ago, well, when he was like 6. Yeah, I've been playing a few different games as of late, though. I've been playing a lot of Skyrim. I don't know. I really like the roleplay aspect of a lot of that. Like, I don't know. I get into it, you know. Like, I really I try to I try to think of like what my character wants and what they do, and then take actions that character would do. Like, I don't really think like in my own mind of like, this is like the way to go, this is that, like because once I've played the game once that way, like I want to experience it a different way, and the best way to do that is to make a character and, you know, kind of give them like, you know, their own personalities and what they value and stuff like that. That's actually one of the most infuriating things though in role-playing games is like the situations where you can't you want your character to do a very specific thing, but the thing is not an option, so you just kind of like, what's the second thing they would do, or what would they do out of these options and things like that. I really like a lot of the Bethesda games and Fallout series, and that was like some of the gripes though. Like, you encounter those situations where you want to do something different, but you don't have the option to do what your character would do. I think I brought it up during Final Fantasy actually, where I had, what was it? It was like a little bit of spoiler here for 2. I think it was like the princess or something. So she was acting weird, and I had like said, hey, like I want to tell this person this because I know that's not her, but then it's not an option because, you know, it's, the game doesn't want you to do that, and you just kind of, you're stuck in this thing where you're like, I know that's not her, and I want to tell them that's not her, but I can't, you know, there's nothing I can add here. So it's difficult. I don't know. At least on the video game side, like there's no possible way they'd be able to even like, you know, calculate everything that could occur though. So it's understandable that it's not, you know, it's just not a possibility. Yeah, I think the Final Fantasy games as well, though, they kind of have a challenging time doing that because it's, I mean, obviously it is a role-playing game, but it's not like a role-playing game in that you have a blank surface of a character. Like, they have personalities. You compare it to something like the Elder Scrolls and stuff, like you are, like, Skyrim. You're a prisoner, you show up, and there's literally nothing. Like, the only information you know about yourself is you're a prisoner, and that's it. Which is good and bad, because it's I don't know, like, I think Final Fantasy games can have a richer story in regards to who you are as the character. And, you know, games like that where you're just kind of, like, thrown into the middle of conflict, like, you're observing the story, you're not a part of the story. Well, that sounds dumb. You are a part, but you're not trying to think how to phrase this. I guess I'm thinking of it kind of like Final Fantasy VII is a really good example. Like, Cloud has a very established story, and then throughout the story you learn more about him, and then, you know, he becomes a key part of that story, and they can develop around that. So, like, he's a key part of the story, and who he is dictates the pace of it. But, like, who you are doesn't dictate that in a lot of other games. So it's like the difference on how you tell the story and the difference of design almost. I don't know, it's a weird thing to bring up. All right. What levels are we at now? 33, 45, 83, 76. I guess I do understand people's rage at having to level up jobs. If we get more jobs, like getting 99 in all jobs is going to be kind of just a task. Yeah, this is extensive. The difficulty as well is there a point to level up all jobs and stuff? I don't know. I think the existence of a vast amount of jobs is nice because what it does is it allows your playthroughs to be more meaningful. Like, you can choose different jobs, you can choose different abilities, you can be a different, you know, character. If they only had like 5 or 6 jobs, like that makes it more challenging and stuff. It's kind of, actually brought this up during the Final Fantasy 1 review, where the fact that you can double up on jobs and the fact that there are multiple jobs adds depth to a game that doesn't change narrative wise. You know, it adds, you know, a lot of a lot of freshness to it. And I know the argument there is like, dude, no games change narrative wise, but I would actually argue with that. A lot of the later Final Fantasy games do change quite heavily. Final Fantasy 1 does not have a lot of mini games, not mini games, side quests. If any, do they? No side quests. So when you have no side quests and your whole idea is like, this is just the main story, there's not a ton of replayability. So the only way to do that is through the combat and through the jobs and things of that sort. Other games, like, I think, actually, I don't know if it starts with Final Fantasy 3. I think it probably does, because the Leviathan and stuff, like the optional bosses. That adds replayability, just because if you don't beat them the first time you play, you're like, oh, I could have beaten these bosses. Like, let me play this game again, and let me, try to actually beat them, and, you incorporate more into it. Man, we really are just killing monsters. Yeah, they really haven't done much damage to us. So we've been doing this for 20, a little over 20 minutes, and they've only dealt like 50 damage to us, if that. And that might have actually just been HP increases that I didn't notice. Didn't like give us the HP in the actual gauge as well. Now we're definitely taking action. All right, let's actually break it up here. So we're gonna start traveling. Like, why not? I mean, at this point, we're just like crushing the opposing mobs and stuff. So we might as well take this trip on the road, because I don't have a thief yet. So, well, I don't have a thief. I'm leveling up, so it doesn't make sense to just fight here. Now, I think the Final Fantasies I'm most looking forward to at this point, then, probably Final Fantasy 6 and Final Fantasy 9. I've played a bit of 9 before, but I've never beaten it, and I've played none of 6, so that'll be a completely new experience. Like, there's so much like praise around that game that it makes it highly anticipated for me. And then Final Fantasy 9 is nostalgic as a kid. I remember. Yeah, I just remember playing that from Blockbuster Video, and then I told my parents I wanted Final Fantasy, but I mean they didn't understand what Final Fantasy, like, they just went to the store and they said give us Final Fantasy, and they gave them 10 instead of 9, which is, you know, understandable, right? Because, you know, it's all Final Fantasy to them. So so that's how I started playing 10. Imagine what a different individual I'd be if I played 9. I don't know. I don't think that really... I don't know. I don't know if that changes you as a person, really. I just remember playing a lot of 10, and I played a lot of just PS1 games. One of the big things... this has just turned into like an interview about my childhood, but... one of the big series I played as a kid was the Army Men series. So Army Men series, Little Green Plastic Men. They had the Army Men 3D, and then the Air Attack, and then Sergeant's Heroes, and stuff like that, you know. And yeah, it was a good time. It was funny. I was reading what made them go bankrupt, and it was because their later games just got terrible reviews. And I think they were just pumping out games, because from what I saw, I mean, I could be wrong on this, so someone, you know, prove me wrong if I'm wrong, because, like, I very well could be. I read this article and I took it at face value, and I didn't verify any of its contents, I guess is what I'm saying. But apparently they were just pumping out games constantly. Like, every 6 months they would have a new game or something, or like the turnaround time was just insane. And then the games were getting bad reviews. And essentially what it seems like they were doing at that point then is they were just trying to, like, cash in. So they were like, all right, let's, like, make a game. Like, all right, we sold it, let's make a game. All right, we sold it, let's make... Like, they were just constantly just chugging out games, which probably isn't great for, like, quality, you know. It's it definitely, I don't know, there's probably also some, like, I don't know, some price fatigue as well, I imagine, because the whole thing is, like, as you know, as a consumer, like, I mean, these aren't cheap games, so you get a game and then you, like, have to get another one 6 months later, and then another one, and then another one. I mean, that can definitely take its toll on your wallet. But yeah, no, played a lot of Army Men. Oh, that blood sword is gonna heal him. That is true. I always forget that, but I keep on using it. But yeah, Army Men was a really good series. And then the classics, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. I mean, they were the juggernauts at that point, right? Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, they were, you know, top of the top. Medieval was good. What other games did I play? That was a big... Digimon Rumble Arena was a pretty big mainstay. That was a good time. I don't know, I've thought about recording some of these games. I know I recorded Spyro and stuff like that just for fun, and that was a good time. I don't know, I think I mentioned it on this channel one time. As you guys know, if you guys have seen my Blitzball videos, I do like grinding things out. I'm pretty, I don't know, not to toot my own horn. I'm not the best video game player ever, but I feel like when I state I'm gonna have a series and I'm gonna like play a series, I get the series done. Like I feel like that's a good, like a pretty big thing I could say about myself. I don't know. I don't think there's many series that I've not completed, I guess is what I'm saying. Like in terms of recording and stuff. So one of my initial ideas was, I was thinking about actually playing through the entire PS1 catalog of all North American released games and recording it on one channel. And that was one of the ideas I had previously, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. Honestly, the main reason is I don't think I could finish it. I really don't. I believe I can finish a lot of series, but when I decided to do those series, I mentally think like, yeah, it'll probably take about this time. If I did that, that would be the rest of my life on this earth. Would be playing PS1 games. I don't know. It just seems so. It does seem like a big thing, you know? Imagine that, trying to beat every single PS1 game ever released in North America. And the reason I say only in North America, no offense to games released overseas, but if it's not in English at least, I can't, you know, I'm gonna hit random buttons and hope I beat the game, you know? I'm not gonna even have a gauge on when I beat the game. Yeah. I don't know, maybe one day I do that, but I don't know. It seems like a bit much, you know? Like, it seems so, you know, just so time intensive. And I mean, arguably, you could be like, yeah, that is literally the most time intensive things you could ever do. The only saving grace is a lot of PS1 games are really short. I mean, I beat Spyro. I could beat okay, this is going to be a real brag. I could beat the entire Spyro series in one day. Like, easy. Easy. Keep in mind, I didn't say I was 100%ing these games. I guess I should clarify that. But no, easy peasy. Beats entire Spyro series in one day. No chance that that's not possible. But yeah. It would be a challenge. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. I'm pretty dedicated to the Final Fantasy like series at this point with the Blitzball and the channel and everything. I don't know if I'd want to start up like a whole other channel. I don't know. I already have a job, so like I'm not looking to add a whole new job. I guess I could just record it on this channel if I wanted to start something like that. And it would be possible. I probably just wouldn't like... I don't know, this is gonna sound like... I say like a lot, but this is gonna sound potentially silly. But I might just not notify people. If I upload it on this channel, I probably just wouldn't notify people. If I was gonna play the entire PS1 catalog of North American video games. Nah, I don't think it's worth it. See, I'm actually having a vocal debate out loud, but this is the internal debate I had with myself. It's not a Journey to 99. It's not like a mini game in Final Fantasy. This is an insane task. I mean, it would be very, very time intensive, and it would take a lot. It would take a lot. So I don't think it would be something I would be able to complete. But I don't know, there's a part of me that likes the challenge, you know? There's a part of me that's like, you know, but I could do it. Like, I believe, there's a part of me that believes I could do it. Like, it's so weird. I'm on both sides of this fence here. Thinking I could do it, and also, like, do I want to do it? Because I don't think I do. Now, there's a lot of PS1 games I played, but I definitely haven't gotten near scratching the entire catalog. I don't even remember how many video games there are in North America. Let me double check, actually. I could probably just quickly search. Oh, 1,300 games. That's actually not bad. That's super short. All North American released PlayStation games, 1,300 games. That's actually not that terrible. The only thing that like is annoying is like you'd have like sports month where you have to play through all the FIFA games and all that stuff and all that. Like I'm not trying to put them down, but the sports games, in my opinion, are not very innovative. But that's just the nature of how they play, because it's a sport, you know. It's an established thing in real life, so it's not like they can, you know, revolutionize the rules. It's just gonna be football no matter which version you play. That's actually really not terrible. Question is how you record that. I don't think you do it alphabetically because you go crazy. Because you got apparently first in the list is 007, Racing, PS1, 007, Tomorrow Never Dies. So a lot of James Bond-ish stuff. 101 Dalmatian, Patches, London Adventure. 102 Dalmatians, Puppies to the Rescue. Man, I'm sold. I'm doing it. We're actually not gonna play Final Fantasy anymore. This is now exclusively a 102 Dalmatians Puppy to the Rescue channel. I'm sorry, we stuck it out, but now we exclusively play Disney games. I guess we sort of could. Kingdom Hearts and all. That's a Disney game, right? That counts. Some of these I can't even imagine playing. 40 Winks, Conquer Your Dreams. I don't know what that's about. 40 Winks, Conquer Your Dreams. What could that possibly be? Adidas, Air Combat, Air Hockey, Alien Resurrection. That looks promising. See, it looks like a cool game. Sorry, I'm just reading off like PS1 games at this point. I did promise you guys like an hour video, so I'm losing steam without any content in the story. But Alundra. So actually, speaking of PS1, I should speak about this a little bit. I have considered branching off once we very far in the future, like once we record a lot of this stuff. Like recording other Square titles such as like Brave Fencer Musashi. So there are some really cool Square games that were released that still fit in the spirit of what Final Fantasy is without being Final Fantasy games. And Brave Fencer Musashi is one that I think is also worthy of a playthrough. And the main reason I say that is because I kind of want to play it. I don't think I'm going to, like I said, in the distant future, because I don't want to play it right now. I kind of have on my plate all the Final Fantasy games, and I do want to play through this series. Well, that might come in the future and such. The big question is, can we beat Final Fantasy 16 to release date? I feel like no, but that's because there's a lot of Final Fantasy games. And if we can't, that's fine. The question is, can we beat Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2? And I think we can. I don't know, I'm so torn on that, because I remember them stating like they're pretty far along with the game, but they've been pretty quiet about it. And I don't know. I just always feel like the impatient person when it comes to that, because I understand the idea. If they talk about it, it doesn't make it come to life any quicker. It's not like them saying like, oh, we're thinking like, 2023 means it's gonna like change. If they're not vocal about it, or if they are vocal about it, it doesn't matter. The release date remains the same. I think the main thing that gets people excited about stuff like that is once the company is talking about it, generally, I'm speaking in generals, generally that means the game is close. That's not always true, but, you know, sometimes, you know, that does, it depends on the company, because some companies have kind of a bad reputation. One game I was going to be playing is, so there's this old PC game called Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, and it's a role-playing game, and I think it's based off of I could be wrong on this one. It's based off of a board game where you're a vampire and there's like this whole world. It's based off of, I think the world is called A World of Darkness. And like there's all these like vampire sects and like clans and stuff and all this cool stuff. And it's a really, really fun game. Just from like a role playing like in world perspective, it's, I don't know, it's like incredibly deep and rich with its like gothic kind of, you know, I don't know if you'd call it inspiration or just theme. I guess theme would probably fit it better. But yeah, there's this old PC game released, I think 2004, called Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, and they have a sequel coming out called Bloodlines 2, supposedly this year, but no longer this year. They didn't cancel it, but they postponed it. So that's a game I'm looking forward to as well. I will say I'm not planning on recording that one, unfortunately. I don't know. I really enjoy playing it, but I don't think I have a lot to add to it as a player. You know, I just be like, yeah, this is pretty cool, guys, because I'm playing through. Like, I hope they do it justice. That's really the big thing. It's a game I played as a kid a lot, and the dialogue, the world, it was just so good. It's very, very good. So hoping to re-experience a new story in that world. That's kind of the big thing that I think I kind of fall in love with when it comes to role-playing games and stuff. It's not even necessarily I fall in love with characters so much as I fall in love with worlds, you know? It's not like I'm thinking, oh, like Yuna, she's pretty cool. It's normally like, oh, like I really like Ivalice, I really like Spira, I like this world around me, and I like the people, and that's what really makes games great for me. That was actually probably one of the biggest, not to join the hating bus, but that was actually probably one of the biggest things I didn't like about Final Fantasy 13 is I felt like we visited all these really cool places, and then you never saw them again. Like, I feel like that world has to be insanely expansive, but you're not able to truly experience it, which always feels kind of odd. Which I guess, I mean, is in the nature of the game, considering the plot and all. Like, you know, going sightseeing isn't necessarily, you know, a luxury you have, but still, like, it feels like I missed out a little bit. I am eager to play that game again. We might have a tough time once we hit a place called Grand Pulse, because I remember the difficulty increasing sharply there and having to grind a lot. Honestly, I had to grind so much I didn't beat the game. I got to the final boss, and then I watched a YouTube video of the end of the game. Like, I was like, I'm not doing this, man. Like, I'm not interested. So that's how I finished it. Which, you know, obviously not truly finishing it, but, you know, I wasn't about to grind for 74 hours. If his job level increased, it feels like we've been fighting a lot, but we haven't increased a lot of our job levels. I don't know what it is. 34, 45, 87, 81. Potentially we need to take an action with each party member. I mean, that is a possibility where we're supposed to be taking actions with each party member. When I when I say I haven't played this game, I really mean it. I didn't look up anything. I didn't, I just was like, let's just play, man. That's what I've been doing so far. Preemptive strike. Nice. Jeez. They're so quick. I guess we should probably let everyone take an action. Let me adjust my and now that we're 45 minutes in, let me adjust my strategy. So these guys are gonna attack just like crazy. Then yeah, the thing is, this can only last for so long. Like, obviously I can't constantly cast Cure because I'm just gonna run out of MP. One of the biggest things is I need to level up probably Lunith. Lunith is probably the guy I need to level up just to get him to 99 and off Onion Knight. Considering how long this is taking, this might be worth just doing off camera. I realize as I'm, again, 45 minutes in, like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't do this on camera. I don't know. Honestly, I was foolish, overconfident even. I really considered like, oh, I'm just gonna grind for an hour and then I'm gonna max out my jobs and that's gonna be that. And that has clearly not happened. It's not been the case. We have been hanging out for quite a bit of fighting and such. It is interesting, not watching, but looking over this list. There's a lot of movies turned video games. Is that still a frequent thing? I don't know if it is. I haven't recalled Frozen the video game. Is that now I'm curious. You know what I think happened is I think a lot of these supposed movies turned video games probably just turned into mobile games, right? That's gonna be the thing. They're not full-fledged releases on the PS4. They're just, some mobile game that gets money. I'm curious because it feels like, I mean, again, speaking from a place of pure ignorance, it feels like a lot of mobile games would be easier to actually develop than a full-fledged console game. I guess it depends on the rating. Isn't there AAA and then AA and all the batteries? No, but no, seriously. Isn't there a develop, and that's determined by the size of the studio working on it or something like that, and the vastness of the game. I actually don't know what actually dictates those ratings. Sorry, I'm looking for a Frozen PS4 game, specifically because that's the biggest thing I don't know. I think that's like the biggest Disney movie in a long time. So there has to be something, right? If they were gonna make a game, they were gonna make it off that one. So in my effort to find games that Disney released on the PS4, the only one I can find is the Unicorn Princess. Enter the world of fantasy and reality in a new family-friendly game, The Unicorn Princess. In The Unicorn Princess, you'll get to experience both real life as a horse rider and your dream world as a princess in this open-world game. Huh. Cool. I'm gonna be honest, guys, I don't think I'm the target audience of this game, but like, you know, good for them. You can be a princess. Who doesn't want to be a princess, right? If this is like your first video watching me, you're like, what is this, dude? Like, I watched a dude for 1 hour walk around in a circle rambling about the most off the wall topics, all the way from Final Fantasy to Disney princesses, man. Well, I guess not Disney princess, it's the Unicorn Princess, unless that's a Disney thing. It could be, I actually don't know, but I don't think it is. I don't know. They're normally more like specific. It feels in their princesses. Are they actually? When I think about it, because like I take that back. They're probably. I'm thinking like Aladdin. Like Jasmine isn't necessarily a specific princess, so much as like Princess of Agrabah. Man, this has got to be a bloody field at this point. That is rough. So apparently there is a game, Frozen Freefall Snowball Fight, but it's completely free. So it feels like it's a completely free game for the PS4 with in-game purchases. So that just feels like that's not, you know, it's developed, I think, to make you buy in-game, or it's got maybe interval ads or something. Is there anything more infuriating than playing a game and having ads in the middle of it? I'm gonna be honest, I don't play like a lot of games, if any games, that have that feature, but I can just imagine that would be the most annoying thing ever. I can't imagine like facing Alduin in Skyrim and then halfway through the battle like Doritos pop up and say, "Are you hungry?" Like, no, man. Like I'm trying to rock this dragon's world. I'm not trying to get Doritos. I don't know. That was an extreme example, maybe, but it just, I don't know. It feels like having ads is would kind of just ruin the experience overall. I guess mobile games it wouldn't be too bad, but other games, especially like thematically kind of important ones, like The Last of Us, I think is probably a game you couldn't have interrupted with ads so much. Refia's job level increased. Nice. What are we seeing for job levels? See, again, it feels like I'm not getting a lot of job levels, if any. So I think my mistake definitely was having the players I have right now, or sorry, the roles I have right now. What I might do is I might do this off camera just because I think it'll be a little bit quicker, and I might just put like Refia and Ark will be thieves, and they'll be using steel, and then Lunith and Ingus will be attacking or something. I don't know, that feels like the most like balanced way to get the level I need. And then also we could do that whole trick with the Phoenix Downs and basically just try to stock up as we can. I don't know, that does make sense to me. The big thing is it feels like I'm not leveling up at all when I don't take actions with the other characters. Which makes sense, because it sounded like this was action based. Like you have to take an action to get a level. Which is kind of annoying, because I don't think we can take... I mean, we can't, like, take specific party members out. Because if we could, that would be super easy. Alright, well, at least he's gone. Getting attacked could be good. I don't think that would count as an action, though. I mean, that very much doesn't seem like an action. It just seems like you got attacked. In all honesty, right? Ark's job level increased. Nice. They're definitely, like, stacking on the job levels for our mages. That is definitely a factor. Let me actually double check something. I could probably just choose to like defend or something. Like with everyone else. That just seems like something that would happen. Oops. Let's go back. Yeah, I could just choose to... Wait, no. Ah, I messed up. Alright, cool. Yeah, I mean, that seems pretty normal. That honestly, that's probably what I should have been doing the whole time. Luna's job level increased. Nice. Unfortunately, I don't think defend is an action, so if it's not, then like that's kind of silly. If it was an action though, can you imagine leveling up to 99 would be so easy? I just defend constantly. That'd be a breeze. Let's actually double check. I want to see, now I'm curious, I want to see if any of our mages levels go up from defending. I need to know for the future. This might actually run more than an hour if that's the case. Everyone's just guardian and then just one swipe. It did go up. That's big. Alright. Okay, we're gonna get crazy here. So if it's based off of actions, let's double check something. Let me see if I can really break this game. Oh, perfect. This is perfect. So I'm gonna literally just have everyone defend. That's all I'm doing. I'm just gonna defend. So here's the thing. If it's based off actions taken, then me defending for 1 billion years should give me experience. Right? You would think that's how it works. We're gonna find out. I mean, I could do this all day. And if it does work this way, I'm sure someone's figured this out, and someone commented on like minute 24. That was like, dude, what are you doing? Which is a fair point. Like, what am I doing? But if no one's figured this out and it works, then I feel like a genius and I can make a video on it. Because all I see is people complain about leveling up jobs in Final Fantasy 3. And if this is the experience, I definitely understand it, because this is annoying. It takes so long. So I mean, this is a lot of action. I mean, I guess the core of the question is, if taking actions, this is a big assumption on my part, is that taking actions levels up your jobs. And the reason I assume that is I think someone commented it, and yeah, I believe them, because they've given a lot of I don't know, they've been very correct on everything they've said, and I've just been stumbling along. you know how it is. You just stumble along through the game. But yeah, I mean, if actions get experience, then defending is an action, and the auto battle allows me to constantly take the same action. So I mean, in my brain, this makes sense. And don't worry, we're gonna end this really soon. I think we're gonna do 2 more of this. One more. And just like that. Let's see if that did anything. Luna's job level went up. Ingus's job level went up. Ark's job level went up. Refu's job level went up. See, that seemed to do a thing. Level 90, level 85, level 37, level 46. So level 90. So the big question is, can they gain more than 1 job level in a battle? Because if they can, then you could just defend for an infinite amount of time and then have a good day, right? I'm not sure. Well, we're going to finish this battle. We're going to end this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I know this was very much... This is a lot of grinding. That's all this really was. But I think we learned some things. We got some progress, and we know what to do now. So actually, Ark got 22 levels. I mean, it's not terrible. But perfect. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.